Ladies and gentlemen, it is June 17th, 2020. This is the Wrestling Inc. podcast, the Wednesday Night Wars, AEW Dynamite versus NXT on USA. And we've got a lot to talk about, two packed shows across both brands. There's some news going on with WWE, which we'll get to. There's so much. Matt Morgan ran out of gas and needs to call AAA, but he wanted you to see his smiling face here to know that he is on tonight's podcast. So he's going to go place a quick call while Justin and I discuss some news, and then we're going to chop it up with AEW, get into NXT, and Matt, we're going to be back. So Matt, call AAA, make sure they're on their way to help you out there, and we'll see you back here in a moment. Justin.
See that? Hang on. Glenn is such a good friend. I don't know how in the blue hell you just cooked that up as fast as you did. Glenn, you are very good. I'll give you credit. Just tell him the truth. I got to go inside. I got to handle something with my son. I'll be right back, though. I promise you guys. I'll be right back.
Trying to cover for the man.
I promise. Thank you,
okay.
Glenn. That's why
of course. Okay. Justin, let's talk about what's going on with WWE and the news about the tapings today, which was the headline all over wrestling Twitter today.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, I know you guys talked about it Monday. Late Monday, it broke, and Raiders Raw went off the air. Basically, obviously, that developmental talent tested positive for COVID-19. So that's kind of put everything at a standstill. So Wrestling Inc. Was able to get some exclusive news combined also with what PW Insider and FW4 or F4W Online have. So chaotic today. They pushed everything back. They're trying to get test results. They're testing all the talent. They ended up getting to ultimately get Raw for next week has been taped. SmackDown for this Friday has been taped. They did tonight's NXT, by understanding, pretty much live. Next week, SmackDown on the 26th is going to happen that day. It's probably going to happen a couple hours before it airs, so it won't be live in the truest sense, but it'll be pretty close. But you can read about it on Wrestling Inc. There's some quotes of just a chaotic kind of scene. Because everybody's just kind of standing around waiting. They're, of course, it's kind of very unorganized, it seems, in terms of getting the testing done. They're telling talents, please don't post as some talents have as you're getting your test. It just. Obviously everybody's trying to keep a PR hold on this, which is understandable. But it's been quite crazy. I texted somebody earlier, as I know Raj has been in communication with people, and everybody's just kind of really, it's a scramble mode. I would like to note this quote though, and the story it's on Wrestling Inc. that you can read in the final paragraph of the report. It notes how WWE's trying to do phases, right? They had a few family and friends this past Monday. So that's kind of the first phase. Then it's going to try to move into, okay, let's try to get the developmental talent out of there and let it just be family and friends. Okay, let's try to have some more fans and slowly try to let people know that it's safe and okay to go, with the goal being by the fall time for TV and pay-per-views to actually potentially be touring again. And the final paragraph in this Wrestling Inc. report, the final phase would be returning to touring for at least TV and pay-per-view events in the fall. The source noted that the train is likely to, quote, come off the tracks before then.
Lord.
So some unsettling feelings amongst those that are in the trenches in Orlando right now.
Wow. Well, I mean, look, we certainly wish the talent that are potentially affected by this all the best. I mean, we got two shows to cover tonight. I feel like dunking on WWE for how they got into this mess.
Well, but let's note too, and we can even soft pitch this one back to Matt whenever he's back with us. But this past Monday, it was the best viewership for Raw since the post Mania 36 episode. So of course this was the first Raw under Bruce Pritchard having the control of Raw and SmackDown. Paul Heyman now just an on-air character, as we are to understand it. And this one, we kind of talked about it. This one held up. There was not the staggering drops that we had seen in previous weeks. So just real quick, again, a full comparison to previous weeks is on Wrestling Inc., but I'll give you the cliff notes. The average viewership this week was 1.939 million viewers. That's up 11% from the previous week. And the first hour drew 1.982, second hour 1.996, and the final hour 1.838. So there was a drop in the third hour, but nowhere near. Overall, 1 to 3, hour 1 to 3 was pretty well sustained.
Fun times with the games, $1.99. Corona keeps spiking in Florida. Vince is insane. I mean, I want to think the best of people and say it's wishful thinking. I think certainly we've seen even with canceling tapings, but I think it's, rather than take precautions, it's like scrambling to deal with the wake of the situation. It's reacting more than being proactive.
Well, and from what I read, from our reports on Wrestling Inc., from what I've gathered from those I've talked to directly, it seems a majority, again, from what I've gathered, a majority of the talent and crew that are there, again, in the trenches, as I refer to it, understand the situation. They understand Vince wants to keep going. I mean, that's become clear. Look, we're in mid-June. He's not stopping. I think they've accepted. They understand the ramifications of, to keep that TV money coming in. We need to keep producing content. I think everybody's accepted that for the most part. What's becoming bothersome, especially now when you have talent testing positive, is communication. Some of these talents on Monday,
yeah.
Some of these talents on Monday had no idea until they walked through the curtain and the red light is on for a record. They had no idea that there were going to be people other than developmental talent there. They had no idea there was going to be people off the streets essentially there. Granted, they might be family and friends of people there, but they're still people that you don't necessarily have a trace or know where the hell they've been. They're not part of the inside community that is, the talent and crew there. So I think communications just what's really bothering people there is like, they're putting their livelihood, their health on the line to help keep this machine going. And I just feel like it seems like they don't feel that they are getting enough communication and transparency from the decision makers.
Jerry 85G has a good point that AEW has the advantage of doing shows outside. I think WWE should talk to Full Sail about using the backlot or figuring out a way to find a space with it. I mean, right there, that would, based on all the data we're seeing, that right there would be a huge precautionary measure by allowing fresh airflow and not having it be indoors.
Yes, it would. I'm sure. I've been to Orlando dozens of times. And again, if Matt was on here, he'd be able
that's
to get
true.
better.
The Heat in Orlando.
Well, never. Heat. Look, AEW's in Jacksonville. It's a little bit north, but it's still the same state. I don't even know. Never mind weather. I think just I don't know what outdoor venues are in Orlando. I'm sure there's something that could make work, but it comes into again. Vince is trying to get the best margins possible right now, and he owns these.
Which is so crazy.
He owns these facilities. So if he goes somewhere, let's say if he finds an equivalent of a Daly's Place in Orlando, some kind of outdoor concert pavilion that you can makeshift into, a wrestling arena. What's it going to cost to have it? And then again, if he doesn't have ticket buyers right now, so I'm not saying he shouldn't at least try it, and maybe he has looked into it. We don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of things being looked into right now. As the situation is very fluid, but yeah, you're right. Outdoor definitely is an advantage for AEW.
Antoine Fair, $5. I'm in the minority. Vince should have told people about the positive. He pretty much created a bubble city. He did what the NBA is doing. He didn't do wrong. They gotta figure something out. I am Airbuck99. When fans signed a waiver, they knew they were wrong. This is just a bad situation. I hope it doesn't get worse. I hope that this was enough of a wake-up call to take some precautions. I don't know. I feel we're a broken record on this podcast. I feel like people know our views on this. Certainly know my views. But this is just what's it going to take, man? Like when are they really going to? What's the statement of you? We put the health of our fans, our performers, our crew above all else. Like, walk the talk, buddy. Like, I'm tired of hearing that lip service.
Where it gets really muddy is when you start hearing about, again, whether they're family or friends. We'll just say they're fans. Okay, they're not contracted. They're not contracted people to be there that work. It gets muddy when you start hearing the he said, she said that they are told, don't wear a mask because we don't want to see you with a mask on in the crowd. And, like WWE even has, just like every business in the world right now, every sports franchise, everybody's putting out masks with their logo and their branding to help, help in the situation, but also have some branding out there. Like WWE has masks that have been created with the characters. It's like, give them a Fiend mask, give them these products you have. You can't tell them you can't wear a mask.
Justin, let's talk a blast from your past in interviewing people in the adult industry. Could you imagine if there was a positive test, which there was, it actually shut down the adult film industry back when I was a much younger man and paid attention to such things, shut down the adult film industry because there was a positive test, mandatory testing with like, you could get results same day, became mandatory.
When you put it like that, Glenn, it's a stunning side by side. No, you're not wrong though. That is everything you said. You're not wrong. When there has been health scares in the pornography world, the by and large the performers band together and are like to the major producers and studios like no,
and they don't have a union. They don't have SAG.
Right.
They don't have the protections that mainstream Hollywood fare does. So with wrestling, what's it gonna take, man? I mean. And
it sucks because it sucks because you ask. Sorry to cut you off. You ask what it's going to take, and
we know what it's going to take. And
you start to get you start thinking the worst.
Yeah, no, and that's but I mean, what so short of that, I think it would take a lot for the company to take a line. But somebody pointed out something really good on Twitter the other day. If this was the time where the locker room was like, you know what, we're not doing this. This is unsafe. What's Vince going to do? Now Vince is more beholden to the talent than ever before if they banded together. Not even unionized, but I think that could be the start of them getting together to take a stand.
Yeah, but...
And Kevin Owens didn't show up at tapings today. Roman's not coming back. Other people are already opting out. Now is the time more than ever they could flex on a large scale level.
It is, and this is unprecedented. Pandemic going on, and this virus doesn't. You're not. This virus is going after you. No matter what. You're not. There's nothing. There's no political side. There's nothing you can do that's going to make you. All you can do is protect yourself. The trouble with the banding together. It's the same thing. The reason why I think pro wrestling's never had a union, which is you can get 50 wrestlers in a room. And they'll all go, oh yeah. Let's band together. Let's tell the old man, yeah. And then as soon as they break apart, out of that 50, at least 5, probably 10 of them are going to start trying to cut their own individual. They're going to go to the bosses and go, hey, so and so's talking about doing this, but I'll tell you what, if you can give me this, that's the nature of pro wrestling and the workers. Now that's just the nature, and it's like. That's why I think there'll never be a union because nobody will ever trust everybody.
Now is the time. Now is the time in the spirit of banding together. Antoine Fair, $5 saying, I work at a big lab company. They're so backlogged on these rapid tests. It's not rapid. It's 6 to 7 day back orders. I mean, I don't know, but they have to figure something out. They could afford to do more rapid testing. They could afford to get it together. But yeah, this is just crazy today that this happened. And I think we're going to see more of it as the situation develops. Mr. Matt Morgan is back and joining us.
Hey,
what's up?
So
Raw popped a big rating Monday night. Best rating. What was the exact rating again, Justin?
Well, it's viewership. He likes rating, but it's the best viewership, Matt, since the post Mania 36. They did an average of 1.939 million. But the key here being they didn't have any big drop off. First hour is 1.98. Second hour 1.99, third hour 1.83. So slight drop to third hour, but they really were able to sustain the majority of the audience, which is they haven't been doing that in a while.
Do we think there's anything different they did to do this?
Well, it was the first night of Bruce Pritchard being in charge, Paul Heyman being gone and Bruce being in charge. So that's something.
Okay, but watching the show itself, was there something dynamically different?
Yes. Yeah. If you watch the show, it's the pacing. There was very much 3 hours is still too long. But if you looked at 9:30 and reflected on the first 90 minutes, you can count on one hand like, wow, I got 5 headlines I could take away of something that's happened here in the stories. So that was noticeable.
Really quick, tell me, do you remember by any chance or no?
Not well enough. I mean, we had a lot. We talked about money, but there was things happening. It was like, wow, there's actually progression going on here.
Well, Terrible Trey 89 $1.99 super chat saying Randy Orton is the Raw MVP. I'm telling you, I could see Randy taking that title off Drew if they think Drew is not holding down the ratings well enough.
Yeah. Yeah, Randy's doing great work right now. I did catch the stuff with him and Christian.
Yeah. Anthony Y, super chat, welcoming back Matt to the podcast. Raj Geary sitting there. It's like, it's great. If the fans, if you have a thought just put a dollar amount to that thought and contribute it as a super chat. They'll read it on the air.
Yeah, seriously.
No, we love the chat room, and I want to mix it up tonight. I want to get. I mean, you guys have such good insights about all of this stuff. Jerry 85G is saying the Big Ninja was ratings. Did you see the ninjas, Matt? The ninjas were all over Monday night.
They were all over Monday night.
Yeah, it's like the 9-year-old boy just loves the ninjas like it's 1985 all over again. So it's unfair saying, calling your lighting the Fiend Light, Terrible Trey, 89 saying you donated to your campaign last week, Matt.
Thank you, Trey. Thank you very, very much.
So let's dive into it tonight and talk about AEW, which opened with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega, the tag team champions, defending against Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall with Brandy Rhodes there ringside. Matt, what did you think of this as an opener? I mean, I think we all knew that Omega and Page were going to win, but this was quite a lengthy match.
And you knew it would be. Every Kenny Omega match is. But it was good. I still don't get. I mean, I get the friendship between, Cody and QT Marshall, but I don't know. I don't feel like we're watching. I don't want to say anything. I like QT. I don't want to crap on the guy.
Okay.
No, I like QT's got a great story, and like you're happy to see him getting like regular TV time. So I get like you don't want to like crap on his 15 minutes of TV time. But when you look at perspective, like Matt said it, you know this match is not going to be a quick one. Kenny Omega to
a fault or good
exactly, yeah, benefit or fault gives everybody a decent amount of time and offense in return. Yeah, I mean it was what it was. It's good seeing Dustin out there. He's in great shape and he moves well. QT's got a great story. So I mean for that perspective, you appreciate it, but from a booking standpoint, it's like Paige and Kenny shouldn't be struggling this much to get a victory. I don't think.
I'm gonna get some hate for this. I think that the way NXT opened with Imperium versus Breezango was way more entertaining and attention getting. I just feel like, and again, I love all these performers, even QT. But I feel like I've seen this before. I don't know if they've even had a match together before, but these feel like some of the most familiar faces of AEW. There was nothing new or different about this.
I do feel like we've seen this tag match, or at least Kenny and somebody else versus these two.
Yeah, I could see if I turn this on tonight, like, are they showing a rerun? Like, this just didn't feel new and fresh and different. It did not. I think it was a solid match, but I do not think it was an attention-getting way to open the show.
100%.
Fun times with games. Where do these random title matches come from? So we've talked about this before. They seem random to us, but I guess if you're watching AEW Dark, sometimes there are stipulations and things that set them up. Sometimes, I mean, honestly, dude, when we're watching two shows at once, you could tell me last week that they won an arm wrestling contest to get this tag title shot, and I would probably believe you that happened just because at a certain point it's information overload.
That's a good point.
Yeah. AEW definitely tries to tell a lot of stories and a lot of little nuances on a lot of platforms, which is cool that they try to take advantage of those platforms. But yeah, if you're like a casual fan, especially if you're a casual fan trying to watch both shows on Wednesday night, there's some little nuggets you'll miss, and you just got to kind of roll with it.
100%.
Yeah. So after, I don't know, we got just a couple quick super chats. Amin Jassim, $2 MVP is the raw MVP. Hope Ross enjoys his golf money. Steve Marcuccioli, a super chat saying, why couldn't NXT film outside like the Backlot Brawl or Ryder Park, perhaps?
Ha! That's my park.
Yes.
Good job, Steven.
You should offer that.
I would in a minute. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think outdoors definitely giving AEW a health and safety advantage right now. So after this tag match, again, good match, but see, on the other hand, and we get maybe tonight, I feel like this was so polarizing on Twitter, but this was followed up with Anna Jay versus Abadon.
Who?
Yeah,
Anna Jay. Okay, so Anna Jay, they gave like the ultimate babyface promo to. Like she looked like a magician, talking about she loves the show, coming across like this fresh-faced talent that's going to get this opportunity tonight. I was like, oh, this is her match. And then Abadon, who I've never seen before, but oh my God. And I mean this in the nicest possible way, but this wrestler is walking nightmare fuel. And just like the look, everything about it's just like, I just was terrified, but I couldn't look away. And she just very much dominated this match and got a win.
Do you guys feel like a star was born?
A little bit. So Abadon, she made at least one appearance before on AEW Dark months ago. I think she's from, if I understand this right, she's from the Colorado area. That's the Indies that she's been working on. So I think they used her as just like a local talent just to give a spot on Dark before. Mm-hmm. She's got a creepy look. Her whole gimmick is she's like the living dead girl.
Yeah,
she comes crawling out like the boogeyman. Dominates this match against, like Glenn said, the girl who you figure they're featuring. The referees even give her like the Undertaker treatment. The referee was up on the second rope, scared. Yeah, so creepy. I saw social media lighting up, and then it looks like AEW has confirmed on social media that she has been signed, that she is all elite. So she
I loved this whole segment, and this would be a problematic statement if I was talking about any other female talent. She looks like they dug up a corpse, but that's what she's going for. Like that's 100% her gimmick, and it looks so good.
And it's hard to pull off once you start wrestling. It's the thing I always said about Fiend. Once we first saw him debut, like backstage in his pre-tapes and promos, what would it look like in the ring? Would it look hokey? How would he pull it off? He has, by the way, but she definitely did. Definitely pulled it off.
And to her credit, real quick. So again, I know people watch and listen to this podcast, and I thank you that when you say that they watch and listen to our podcast, but maybe don't watch all of AEW, all of NXT, check this out. And what's even cooler is I started to dig a little bit on her social. She has an Instagram, she has a Twitter, she has a Facebook.
You're stalking her? Wow.
Yeah, I'm creeping. I'm creeping. I'm creeping. She doesn't break character. She you're not gonna find a picture of her in her bikini out at the pool tanning. I looked. You ain't gonna find that.
No hashtag blessed.
No. Yeah. She the only thing you're gonna find of her is some awesome goth makeup. So
I love when people do that. I love when the wrestlers do that and it sucks me in even more emotionally. I love that you know what I mean? Into their character.
Yep.
And I thought Anna Jay looked good too. This might be anyone that's we've been very critical of AEW's women's division. This is probably the most promising development.
Yes. Yes. Great word. Yeah.
Because they're widening the universe of women now. And
she's a star, and definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It was really good. And also, I mean, not to further put this over, but it was pretty well lit out there. I know they were in an outdoor venue. Could you imagine how much even more effective this would have been if they could have controlled the lighting a bit more, like presented something dark? Like, I mean, I think
they should do something more with her. Yeah, they should definitely play with her entrance.
Yeah.
I think you could do something really cool with it.
Seriously. This was great. Ryan W. $5 saying, I'm so happy to have a dark female character. Luna's the last one I remember.
Good call.
And then I can't read the name of this. Thank you for your $10 super chat, TDD, saying Abadon was so lame, right up there with Luther. Why does AEW insist on so many creepy gimmicks? They're trying to jump the shark for me with these. Anna Jay looked good, but a lame gimmick. Also, okay, you can disagree. You could disagree with that, but I mean, there are people that tell us all the time. What do we hear? Oh, you guys are so down on Sheeta. Like, she's my favorite. Like, I don't know. I thought this was fresh. This was different. If I was a casual viewer and I saw this, I would be like, what in the hell is going on here? And I think by that token, it really succeeded. And someone's saying like, oh, Rosemary and TNA is also creepy. Yeah, Rosemary's
she was good.
Yes. I love Rosemary. But I'm saying with Abadon, like, this was different. Like, and I'm trying to place it. Like, she's got a little like Marilyn Manson look. She looks like something from a video game or like maybe the Resident Evil movies. Like, her look is unique to wrestling. This is different.
Yeah. And there was a couple of TNA, right? There wasn't a Rosemary, and then there was some that came after her. God dang it. I forget her name.
No, I know who you're talking about.
She did a good job, too, I thought. And they had like a battle with...
Are you thinking of the one, was there a girl that was with Steve? Crazy Steve?
That is Rosemary.
That's
There's one that came after her. I don't know, but nonetheless, the fans are right. They've had a couple others in the past, but this girl, I thought, definitely set herself apart.
It's cool to see that too. We actually don't on the indies and in TNA. TNA is probably mainstreamed it the most. We don't normally see the sort of crazy female look like this, but this was unique. This was different. I was creeped out by it, but I think this was fantastic. This for AEW. I might go as far as say this is my favorite thing that I saw tonight.
It definitely was top 3 for me. I definitely. But I will say this: she cannot appear on Being the Elite.
No,
she cannot appear. You know what I mean? No, stay away from it. If by some chance you're watching this, do not appear. You know, it's like my favorite YouTube show. Don't appear on it because your gimmick is money right now.
Yeah, don't make it comedy.
That would be like the Fiend appearing on Ride Along on the WWE Network.
Yes, that would be the death of his character.
Bray Wyatt's driving and the Fiend's the passenger.
No, but let me just say this: if you had Ride Along and it was Bray Wyatt with the puppets in the car for half an hour, I'd watch the hell out of that. I think that'd be great.
I hated them. I'll be honest. I didn't like the puppets. I did
Really?
not like them. I came very slowly with the puppets. With Vince one is the one I liked.
Yeah. See? And Vince would be in the back seat. Vince would be the backseat driver in the episode of Ride Along trying to tell Bray how to do things. Could be gold. So if you didn't watch AEW tonight, and let's face it, you watched AEW tonight, but still, watch this match. After this, Colt Cabana was looking out from ringside. Brody Lee came out. Grayson got in Private Party's face. Uno handed over an envelope to Cabana. Cabana read it over, looked at Lee. Not sure what it is. Maybe some kind of offer. Then Anna Jay was helped out of the ring. Lee took her hand and helped her to the back. Colt Cabana looked with a confused look. Then we had Billy with Austin Gunn versus MJF with Wardlow. So Billy was out there with his sons. And man, this was a kind of a short match by AEW standards, but this was by no means a squash, even though MJF clearly got the best of the match.
Dude, Billy Gunn's kids are huge. In real life, too. They're huge. I'm happy to see he had both sons. Because it's usually Austin that's the wrestler. Austin's wrestled for a couple of my charity events I've done in Longwood because they live here in Longwood. Mm-hmm. Billy and his family. But his other son that I don't really see much of doing a lot of wrestling stuff. It's pretty cool to see him doing it here and being a part of it. They have great genes. Obviously, I hope they do more with them.
Yeah. Great family. They have. I mean, this was it was not a squash match. I think they even put a commercial in between it because they had the picture-in-picture, and it's so funny to me, Matt. I mean, you know this even better, having been in the ring with Billy. It's so funny to me that now the influx of people who every week on socials man, Billy is deceptively big. It's he's been this size for 25 years. You're just now noticing because in general, the business has gotten smaller. Yes.
100%, man. Yes. These guys are very diminutive.
Yeah. But but this is good. I mean, it's a good use of Billy. Obviously, again, Billy, apparently he can't use Billy Gunn, but he can use Gun Club. But Billy, then obviously the big takeaway here is obviously the post-match shenanigans that turns into MJF, Wardlow, and Jurassic Express.
Yeah, and everyone in the audience felt like we're getting into it by the end.
And I think they announced actually Luchasaurus versus Wardlow next week.
Oh, that'll be good.
So that they better have their protective goggles on for that one because both men need the protection.
Yes.
David 3X with a $2 super chat saying, "You mean Daphne from TNA?"
No, she was years before that.
She was WCW too.
But she came out with Stevie. She and Raven a little bit. She was goth, but she wasn't what we saw tonight. Come on.
Oh, I'm getting a text from Raj. He's saying, "Hey, if people want to pay to be wrong, keep it coming."
Thanks, Raj.
No, kidding, Raj.
I thought you were serious.
No, is my selling that good, man? I'm a terrible actor.
Yes.
So after that, we got what else? Oh, Alex Marvez talking with Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara about their attack on Orange Cassidy. That was an okay promo.
I like everything he does, so I saw nothing wrong here.
What about Tony talking to Britt Baker at ringside, and then Big Swole taking the reins of the wheelchair at the end?
That was good. I don't know why they keep going Big Swole with her though. What am I missing?
I don't know.
Like Britt to me should be the damn main event already. Like that near that level.
Well, I mean, it's good that the fact that she's injured until September. It's good that they're still featuring her. Yeah, and so my thought here is like, I mean, Swole driving her away, and then we'll get to it. We come to find where Swole dumped her. This is just good to keep Britt in there. It's letting Britt do her shtick. Swole's a babyface who's there to stick around, so it just gives her something. I mean, it's kind of weird because you can't have a payoff match, but then again, Britt they call her Reba, but she was Rebel in TNA. I mean, she's a trained worker, so I mean, I guess she could have like a match on Britt's behalf if that's what they want to try to do.
That's pretty creative, Justin. I'm happy that Rebel's getting a chance, though. She's such a sweetheart. She's so nice. Everybody gets along with her. Very, very kind. And went to Japan. I give so much respect to anybody that goes to Japan and does more than one tour and stays there. And she went there and worked there since she's been going with TNA.
Was that a sarcastic creative, Justin?
No, that's pretty creative.
Babyface Matt Morgan tonight.
You delivered that so straight. I thought you were being sarcastic.
Oh, no. I think that's very creative because I've been thinking like, okay, it's going to be obviously Rebel versus Britt eventually. She's going to get sick of putting up with Britt's crap and just lose it on her one day, right?
Yeah.
Like Virgil versus $1 Million Man kind of thing. But that's a good one, actually. If they could use her now and get her in matches, Britt could continue to browbeat her for losing all the matches.
Right.
And then they can have that payoff one day when Britt's better.
So the chat room would very much like for me to read that Su Yung in Impact Wrestling.
Thank you. There we go. Thank you. She did a good job with it too. But
this was different.
Tonight's better.
Yeah.
Who's she married to? Who's she married to?
Who?
Su Yung. Or maybe not married, but she's a girl.
Tommy? I don't know.
No.
I'll be here all
Is it Swanson? He was on 205 Live.
Hang on, folks in the chat room. What's this from? Swan. Samsonite.
Dumb and Dumber. I knew I was close. Started with an S though. And he actually says Swanson just before he gets to Sam. Maybe it's on the briefcase. Samsonite.
You know what it was?
Rich Swan. That was the name.
You know what it was cool about Abadon? Now that I'm thinking about this, every female wrestler, not every female wrestler, but I'm saying a lot of these examples, when I'm looking at photos of them just now, just like Googling them, you could still tell with the look, they're trying to like keep some features. So you could tell like, oh, underneath the makeup, you could tell like, this is, an attractive performer. You could tell like, well, it's still got some feminine qualities where it's like.
I did that not that there was much big to do with me.
Sure.
Me and my generation of wrestlers, I would say, that's where I feel we missed the boat. And we should have gone all in with gimmicks and long hair and completely changing your look up and invest that much into it. Yes. Because when I was wrestling, it was more about real names, what your real background was. Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle had a lot to do with that, I think. And then they were looking for real athletes to boast, Matt Morgan's a former high school All-American basketball player. Did you know? And Bill DeMott sitting on commentary. What the hell does that have to do with wrestling, Josh? Who cares? But I wish that we did do that. I wish I did that. I wish I grew my hair out or did something different to change my look completely.
If let's say WWE, let's say Liv Morgan was going to have an undead look, it would be like, well, she's a sexy zombie. Like, but with Abadon, it was like, no, this is going to freak you the F out. Like that is the point. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got to respect that. I like that. Absolutely. I love hearing that on Twitter. She doesn't break kayfabe. I like that.
Yeah. It was good, man. Like, I'm still thinking about that now. And I'm like, I'm telling you, like, this could be really big if they don't screw this up.
Yeah. And, Matt, you say that, but that's interesting. It's kind of like, you came in right after Vince, beats the competition, beats WCW, beats ECW, acquires them all. And like that. But that was a big thing that WCW and ECW did. In contrast to what Vince was doing, that started getting them over, which was they were using guy,
Real
you know,
names.
Kevin Nash, Scott Hall,
Right.
go Tommy, or even though Dreamer's not running, but they were using like base names and they were trying to like make, you know, so I think I've always thought that early 2000s when you were coming in, I think Vince kind of realized like, all right, let's take what was working. People are identifying if I call this guy Matt Morgan versus if I call him the Beast, you know?
Yeah, Mass Marauder or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Mass Marauder.
I was watching. I had forgotten from the American Gladiators reboot when you posted that clip. I'd forgotten about like the loincloth and the shaking the bar.
That's why I just said the Beast. It's fresh on my mind.
I was just like, oh man, I've forgotten because you think back to
the
like
rubber bars that he's.
Dude, so what you'll see is me throw my thing that I hated to have. I had to wear it, and I lost this battle with NBC of this stupid thing I had to wear across my chest. I'm like, this is ridiculous. No, it makes you look more like a beast. And I'm like, no, it really does. I look like a 7-foot Tarzan. No, it doesn't.
When I saw that, I'm sorry, Matt.
So you could see me throw it. Well, I wasn't supposed to throw it on top of the cage. I was supposed to wear it in combat, and you could see in the moment. I literally am in the moment, flip out, and throw it as far as I can, and it lands on top of the cage. I was supposed to wear it in combat.
When I was watching that, I legit for a second was like, wait, I didn't know Vince McMahon was the producer on the American Gladiators reboot.
It's El Gigante part 2.
Yeah, I mean, it was very Vince, that entrance. But yeah, that was something.
You don't like my furry diaper? No?
Well, it's weird because you remember on the original American Gladiators, which now is 30 years ago, they were just wearing like singlets and athletic gear.
Yeah, the spandex.
Yeah.
And that's what they were doing, except moi. Oh, no, Wolf was Wolf, but still, yeah. Yeah.
You big, tall bastard. We're going to put a loincloth on you.
I was going to say, like, did they say, like, we're going to throw raw meat in the cage and you'll just have, like, a big bone in your mouth?
NBC was like, you got to grow your chest hair out more, your body hair, try to grow your hair out up top. I'm like, that's not going to...
Killian Dane would have been huge on the American Gladiators reboot.
He really would have been better, to be honest. Except the fact that I was undefeated. Just point that out.
That's true. That is true. How many episodes did that run? The Gladiators reboot?
2.5. No, I don't know. I don't know. 2 seasons?
Oh, okay. Respectable.
Dude, the original one in the early 90s was just phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yeah,
awesome.
I just watched
Battle Dome. I love Battle Dome too.
It was okay. I was still more of American Gladiator. I just watched the Family Matters episode the other day where Carl and Steve compete on American Gladiators.
I'm gonna go get some more water, but you guys talk about this Arn Anderson Cody promo. I'll be right back.
All right.
So Cody comes in. What'd you think? I don't know. Cody comes out. He's got the open challenge for the TNT title. I mean, I don't know. Promo's good. I still kind of laugh at this whole Arn as like the head coach thing. I don't know. Like I'm waiting for him to.
What am I missing? Because I do see him. Hang on. I don't know what that's all about. What am I missing with this? Because why does Cody feel the need? Sorry for the beeping. Why does he feel the need that he needs all of this stuff?
And that's
this coach. He, sometimes he comes out with his wife, which I would too if I had a wife that was wrestling in the wrestling business with me. But Dustin from time to time, QT Marshall, he's the biggest star. He's the biggest babyface there by far.
That's been the big critique. No, that's been the big critique. Is if you are who you are, and Cody, why do you need this cornerman? And at first, I kind of defended it because I was like, I don't know, it's kind of a nice new touch on a manager. But now, Arn's out there with the
stuff,
the laminated piece of paper. I'm waiting for him to go red 43 X right, and that means drop kick. It's just I don't know.
Let's just be honest. What call would there be? So fans at home watching, there is no way on the playbook somewhere there's a drop down leapfrog. Maybe there is drop down. We call this the universal high spot, universal spot.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the ring with somebody and I call universal, they know generally that I believe, if I still remember correctly, is drop down, leapfrog, hip toss, pin.
There's a shoulder. There's a shoulder tackle in there.
Some shit like that. God, I'm old. But seriously, and I don't know what would be on those plays. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
what could fans conceivably believe are on those plays?
Commentary tried tonight, to their credit. They like at one point, Cody I think he did a dive to the outside, and JR or Shivani, one of them said, Arn's going to have a talking to Cody backstage after the match. That was too high a risk for this moment.
Okay.
While Cody,
that's cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
Right. Like, so that's okay, but yeah, I don't know. But like, to the point, does Cody need this? And then like, yeah, he has a wife, but his wife's out there with his
Dustin and QT.
with his brother. Right. So I don't know. But nonetheless, it does open challenge. I do think, I will say this, and then obviously we see who answers the open challenge. I do think it's cool because obviously WWE doesn't do business this way. They don't. If you're not contracted with him, you're not getting a title match. You might be a local talent who gets to be squashed by established star, but you're not getting, NXT's done a little bit where we've seen Jushin Thunder Liger and people who are veterans in the business, but for the most part, Vince just doesn't get down. So I think it is cool that Tony Khan and AEW are saying, hey, we are willing to let guys or girls who you haven't seen before come in and maybe be part of title matches. We get this Ricky Starks tonight, who they tout has been in NWA. He's fought all around the world. And this is probably the best match of the night, quite frankly, on either show, was this match.
Ricky Starks is really good. I don't like his gimmick, though. I hate it in NWA, too. No offense. Everybody else loves it. I like him as a wrestler. He's still got to find something with that character because he's a babyface, a natural babyface normally, like the way he wrestles. His character on NWA is like this cocky thing, and it doesn't fit.
Well, and what didn't fit even more for me for this was that I'm kind of new to him. I've heard of him, but I'm generally new. And he's cut and but I know what his gimmick is. But then he's cut. They gave him this like 90-second video or 1-minute video package, and he's talking about, I've slept on floors and couches. I've had $3 to my name. I'm like, well, if your gimmick's supposed to be like this cocky, like kind of like upper, like, don't be telling me you've had $3 to your name. It's just, there's just a disconnect. I don't know, but good match. Really, actually, great match. Best match of the two shows. And then AEW confirmed, Tony Khan did later in the night, that he is all elite. So I guess he's signed with the company now.
So he's no longer with NWA.
It would seem that way. Tony Khan, he obviously was going into tonight, but Tony Khan phrased it as such a great showing. We're signing him, and gave him the graphic of all elite.
Stroke daddy.
Yeah. I was thinking this with Cody, the grandson of a plumber thing. That used to seem like a much more humble profession, didn't it? Because now I'm thinking like, man, your grandfather's a plumber? Like, plumbers can make serious bank. Especially if you own like the company, if you're like an independent contractor. Yeah, plumbers. Like, did we once look down upon that? Like, oh, a humble, simple man, he's a plumber.
I think now with how much education we see between kids that go to school for a 4-year degree and have no idea
$30,000 a year,
why they're there. They just pick a random major for the hell of it because their parents tell them to. Versus the kid that goes to a trade school, learns an amazing trade, and immediately hits the ground running.
Hell yeah.
With a book of business and is making bank for himself and his future family.
Plumber can make $80,000 a year.
Yeah, if you're a 20 or 21-year-old who is well schooled in like to be an electrician and like and get in with the right people, plumber, same thing.
I'm just saying, like, I think that somebody still thinks it's like saying I'm the grandson of a dirt farmer. He couldn't even afford crops. He only farmed dirt.
That's a good call. You're right. You're absolutely right, Glenn.
Yeah, I think plumber is a very respected, well-paid position now.
Well, when you have TL Hopper out there and you got like plumber's crack and eating the Snickers bars, WWE didn't do any favors to the plumbers.
Chris Jones, Roto-Rooter, charges $300 to snake a drain.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dude, I have 50 feet of sewer line getting ready to be dug up in a couple days. Because it's terracotta pipe, so tree roots get in it because this house was built in the 40s. So I have to get the plastic to replace it so I don't have this problem every few years. I ain't going to reveal what I'm paying for because I'm pissed off about it, but I know it's also for the good. Plumbers are no joke. If you know what you're doing, forget snaking a drain. If you can replace a line, you're all right now.
Yeah, times have changed. Anyhow, so Cody, of course, won that match, retaining the TNT Championship. Then we had Jimmy Havoc and Kip Sabian versus the Young Bucks.
Still liking Havoc. Great. This was a good match. I like this match.
This was very good.
I'm yet to see a Young Bucks match I haven't liked.
Afterwards, the Butcher and the Blade attack the Young Bucks. Butcher, also a solid profession, very slept on. And FTR got involved.
Which was cool, that part.
Yeah.
Butcher and the Blade, I am not feeling, though. I'm sorry. I love the Blade. He is a good friend, but I do not like this. He's a single star.
He is, and it's like they've quietly tried to repackage it. They were gone for a while during the pandemic, and which nobody faults because you figure, okay, maybe travel, maybe health, whatever. And then they resurfaced a few weeks ago. Now they're dressed in like all white. They've lost the bunny who's with QT Marshall randomly, and she's actually in real life married to Blade. I don't even know what Butcher and Blade are now. Like at first they were like they had like a dark macabre to them. Now they're like they look like
Mel from Alice. Like they just need the little white cap.
Great show.
Like, seriously, no, but maybe they're butchers. Butcher, by the way, median income $30,000 a year, so not as good as a plumber making $80,000, but still, like I don't know why they were dressed like that tonight. That they did not look cool at all. Like bring back the leather. Like that was kind of weird in its own way, but still, that was a weird look tonight. I did not think that was cool.
What did you think of FTR? FTR's part?
FTR looked good. I was just going to say, though, just to make it clear, I'm not dissing Vic Tayback from Alice, though, because that dude was straight up gangster, like, his entire life.
Glenn, you are...
He's in a lot of good movies, too.
Oh, yes.
You are dissing the Butchers. I know you're vegan style. You're dissing the Butchers.
Hey, somebody, it's a job someone has to do.
Don't hate on my porterhouse, all right?
I can't even imagine doing that job. To me, but it's also, I'm not going to go off on this. That used to be an exceptionally skilled job. That, you know what? I'm going to say butchers and plumbers have traded places. Butcher used to be a highly respected, highly paid job, highly skilled. And now with industrial meat processing and whatnot, butchers are paid way less now.
You ever see like Wild Wild West, like movies or shows? The Butcher, I'm telling you, the Butcher was a big deal.
Oh yeah, yeah,
right there with the blacksmith.
But beef used to also cost 4 times what it does now. Families wouldn't even have meat with every meal because they couldn't afford it up until meat became cheaper. So it's an interesting trajectory. But the Butcher and the Blade, this conversation we're having about the role of the Butcher in American society is more interesting than their gimmick or how they're presented.
Yeah,
which is a shame. But this match was good. Young Bucks won. Then we had Taz talking about Moxley and setting up the match with Cage at Fyter Fest. Moxley responding. We got a teaser for next week on Dynamite. Next week, we're going to see Sonny Kiss and Joey Janela. They were on Dark last night, right?
I didn't see it, but we'll see how it looks. Let's see what they've done.
Yeah,
it's good.
Twitter was lit up.
They had a promo, I think, last Wednesday where Janela was like, just burying himself at the bar, just drowning himself at the bar, and then like Sonny Kiss basically picked him up kind of in a car. And
so I want to see where it goes. So let's see when it comes next week.
Yeah. So we saw Britt Baker was in a dumpster. Big Swole drove her into a dumpster. And Baker was asking where Tony is, yelling at Reba.
And she's screaming she's been there for 5 hours, and then Reba goes, it's only been an hour. And then Britt gets even madder.
No, this was funny. Britt's still coming across like a star. I love that they're incorporating her even though she can't wrestle right now.
Yeah, me too.
We had Matt Hardy on commentary for the main event, which was Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara versus Best Friends. And I don't know, man. Best Friends winning via pinfall was one thing, but Orange Cassidy disguised as a cameraman making his way on stage behind Jericho, and then the announcement that it's going to be Jericho versus Orange Cassidy at Fyter Fest.
Wow.
Like, that stole the show. That was the way to go out tonight.
I'm very interested in how Chris is going to... Well, we know he's going to pull it off. Orange Cassidy could do a lot of cool stuff.
No, I said last week, I thought that this was going to be the match for Fyter Fest, and this is a perfect setup to have Orange Cassidy go over via Mike Tyson help, and that sets you up your Tyson Jericho, which they seem to be.
You think they're going to have Orange Cassidy pin Chris Jericho?
I do.
Whoa, this is a very bold prediction.
Bold.
And the question, is this good for business? That I would normally agree. Putting over a younger superstar to help He's super popular. In any other formula, I'd say yes, it makes sense. Except that, what do you do with him if now he's in the main event level and he's wrestling for championships?
Who?
Orange Cassidy.
I think you're looking at a situation where the Fyter Fest is 2 nights. This main event's one of the nights. Ref takes a bump.
No,
Jericho.
you're missing what I'm saying. Once he wins, and then where do you go from there? Orange Cassidy's now made, and he's in the penthouse now.
I don't know if he's made in the penthouse. I think he's got more credibility to him, but I don't think you're going to start seeing him competing for the title. I think he's still going to stay in his lane.
Okay.
I just think that you have the easy explanation of take a ref bump.
Ooh.
Tyson gives a punch to Jericho, and Cassidy has the win. I think.
Okay.
I look at this as like Steve Austin being rolled up by Mikey Whipwreck, who had never won a match before, type of thing in ECW.
Did that really happen?
That really happened.
Oh, wow. Mikey Whipwreck can say he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Well, it was Steve Austin after WCW, before WWE, so he was not yet Stone Cold. But
still a pretty cool thing to say.
Yep, he did.
So I thought this was good. I'm telling you, Orange Cassidy is a draw, and I think this is actually smart. And I'm glad Jericho's on board with this. I don't think a lot of talent would be willing to put over a guy like this at Jericho's level. So I think this could be really, really good.
Yeah.
Let's talk about NXT tonight on the USA Network, which started off with the tag team title match, Breezango versus Imperium. And my couldn't believe with the Breezango coming out dressed in the same jumpsuits as Imperium. It made it a little tough to watch the match sometimes to figure out who was who, but I really liked their entrance, and this was a very entertaining match. I didn't think Breezango was going to win. I certainly wouldn't have been upset if they had, but this was a good opening. Justin, what did you think of the match?
Yeah, good match. And you said it earlier, Glenn. If you watch this tag match side by side to the opening tag match, what AEW gave, it's not that AEW had a less quality or it didn't work as hard, but like I just enjoy this more because there was a little bit more unpredictability to me of what was going to go down in this. So yeah, this is a perfectly fine opener for me.
Yeah,
this was good. This was very good, like you said, Glenn. I didn't like them wearing their outfits.
It was just a little tough. It was funny for the entrance, but they should have had something different on underneath.
I don't think, even though they're hilarious, maybe I should just go with it and because I do laugh, I do think they're funny. I did think everything they did on SmackDown was hilarious and underrated to a degree, but I know they're both very good wrestlers and very good promos. I just wish they had a legit opportunity as themselves or as what was his name? What's his name's name? Breeze, Tyler Breeze.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he got the one-on-one cruiserweight match that was pretty straightforward.
His character, before he got called up from NXT at the time to whatever it was, Raw or SmackDown, I liked his character. I thought it was perfect. They shouldn't have messed with it.
Like walking out with the selfie stick. And,
yes.
Yeah. Prince Pretty gimmick. Yeah.
There we go, Prince Pretty. I liked it. He did a good job in it with it.
Yeah.
And they wrestled well tonight. I thought the performance in this, a lot of people really liked the finish tonight.
Those two can go. Dude, Johnny Curtis and him are really good.
Yeah. I think they deserve a tag title run. I'm telling you, I guarantee you, as tag champs, they will draw a better rating and keep people from switching over to AEW more than Imperium without Walter will.
Without what?
Without Walter.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So that's so for right now, I actually think it would have been the right move to put the belts on Breezango until Walter comes back, and that's how you take them off Breezango. Because Imperium, I mean, they're the backing band. Walter's the draw.
And we talked about a minute ago. We talked about Jericho and would he put over Orange Cassidy? I had to just make sure I was thinking the right thing, being there. Mania 29. It's been a little bit ago, but Fandango, his debut match, beat Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. His debut match at WrestleMania, he beat Chris Jericho. So again, just going back to the Jericho point, Jericho put over talent if need be. And yes, Fandango, as Matt was saying, or Johnny Curtis as he was before. The guy can work. So he's let his character in comedy kind of take, or the company has let his character in comedy take the lead. But he can go if they need him to go bell to bell.
I'm having to look it up. Were they wearing the regular gear under the tracksuits? I seem to recall. To me, it looked very similar once they were in the ring. I actually had trouble sort of following at one point. Like,
tell chat room I said, who cares? Next.
I'm gonna do the patented, like, I'm wrong. Yeah, but still. Justin Lopez, $5. I agree with you, Matt. Once I saw them dressed up, I knew they weren't going over, but they deserve a title run down the line. There you go.
They do, Justin.
Remember that match with
the next one? Is it the next one by any chance?
Sorry. Matt Morgan's got places to be. Let's talk.
We're on the East Coast.
I'm sorry.
It's 8:30. Where the sun's still up, Glenn.
To my campaign managers I promised I'd call them before I went to bed. Sorry.
I got sources to talk to, Glenn.
Scoops LaBar.
Scoop
LaBar.
Also, during this match, Indus Sher came out with Malcolm Bivens, and they attacked. Did. Yeah, I know, but still, some people. But you forgot to mention Indus Sher. So Bivens was out there with them. So yeah, that's clearly where this is going. What about this interview with Velveteen Dream and teasing tag pairing with Dexter Lumis?
Honestly, I don't like him tagging with anybody. He's a standalone star, a huge singles act, a main event act. My opinion, he should be the entire main event act, but on that show. But with that said, I'm very interested and intrigued on where this could go.
Yeah, Dexter Lumis, he's got a creepy vibe to him, but I'm taking him seriously. So this is not what I predicted for Dream, but it does not look like the Dream is the next guy to go sliding left or right to Raw or SmackDown. So I'm okay with this. They've certainly gone down the singles rabbit hole with him a few times. So I'm open to something. I can see an odd pairing happening here, and this may be working potentially.
Lonzo Smith saying whoever's drawing those pictures for Dexter Lumis is very talented. I did like that artwork with them with the tag belts.
Whenever they need cartoon work, it's always Jerry Lawler. He's a good drawer.
On NXT?
Well, I don't know, but Jerry Lawler always does all the artwork whenever they need something drawn.
Interesting. Damian Priest versus Killian Dane.
This at one time would have been a great match. I would have been very excited about it. But with how they book Killian Dane now, it's just, what the heck?
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, Dane's certainly been pushed to the back, but I'm okay with this because I'm a big Damian Priest guy. So
I'll tell you, though, for me, the moment that made this was when we saw the disheveled Robert Stone leaning against the plexiglass and Dane smacking the barrier, sending him flying to the back. To me, that overshadowed this entire match.
He looks like that nerd character from MTV back when we were younger, Glenn, at the beach house.
Oh, okay.
I forget his name. Oh, my God. You'll remember. No.
What?
The nerd that was in WWF with the Bushwhackers.
Oh,
Jameson.
Jameson. Thank you. That's who he reminds me of right now. Thank you. Great call, Jameson.
It was good. So Zia Lee versus Aaliyah, speaking of which, and Aaliyah picking up a win due to Stone distracting Zia Lee. Spitting up his drink all over the mat.
He spit on the mat. I don't know. This is all I can say is I got worried when they split Chelsea from him, and then Chelsea started showing up on Raw or SmackDown. So you got worried that Robbie was just gonna get discarded. But no, they are sticking with something, and he seems to be having fun with it. And he's a guy that can make it work in the comedy, so I'm okay for it.
They need to get him in the ring. He's in great shape. He's a great performer. He's a good promo. He needs to start wrestling. I love having managers. Not when your manager is better than half of your talent in that ring. I have no problem saying that. He is good.
So Kevin R. Alexander is saying Dexter Lumis is a trained graphic artist. He creates his own art. Other people saying in this chat room as well.
Yeah.
Although, Matt, we've seen, with wrestlers' Wikipedia sometimes, you can just tell me any fun fact, and I'm inclined to believe it. You would be like...
they lie all the time on Wikipedia. People break in there and put crazy stuff just for the sake of it sometimes.
It's true. But no, I'm inclined to believe it. A lot of people are saying that apparently he's drawn some art for podcasts.
He does. That's true. Sorry.
Leon's Duncan, why does Dream and Dexter work so perfectly together? There is something about it where it's like they're both eccentric, but in completely different ways.
Yeah, they're two ends.
It's interesting.
Yeah, they're two ends of the bizarre spectrum.
Lonzo Smith saying, I don't know about Robert Stone. I can't trust any man that wears shoes without socks. He has a point there. So Aaliyah won that match. I hope her with Robert Stone. I hope Aaliyah's going to get a bit of a push here. It's long overdue.
She's definitely waited her time. A lot of good girls have come in there and cut her in line, so to speak. But to be fair, they're studs. Sorry, they're so good. But glad to see her get her chance.
No, absolutely. So we saw Timothy Thatcher, the Thatch's Catch Can Wrestling School tonight, and his lessons. What do you think, Matt? Now, this is someone that we have admittedly not seen anything in or seen much in before. We thought he was British for the longest time.
British for crying out loud. Yes, we did.
Like, this is an angle. I mean, but this is kind of that, Scott Dawson and Dash, the mechanics, kind of the ringmaster, kind of that. He's a technician in the ring.
Right. Yeah. And it will never sell tickets.
That never gets over the way they think it's going to.
No.
Because nobody's buying a ticket today to see somebody who can clench this amount of pressure on the wrist and rear back and whatever. That's not.
No.
That's just
it
not.
always has a spot on the card, right?
Yeah.
Always a spot on the card to add variety to a card. It'll never draw money though.
Yeah.
So Dr. Zeiler's free $1.99 saying, will Sasha and Bailey boost ratings tonight? I think it's possible.
Yeah, I would think so.
And what
was next?
Undisputed Era went to therapy. Kyle O'Reilly returned. Now it looked like they shot this separate from everything else. Yeah. So I assume he's still quarantining or isolating rather. I mean, Undisputed Era in a straight comedy sketch. What'd you think of that, Matt?
I don't know what to think of it. We get on them, not on them, but the booking of them, that they're too similar. There's nothing very colorful about them. I do like O'Reilly, the second most of the group, usually. Mm-hmm. But this, should I compliment them for doing this with them because it was something different? I
was trying to figure out. I didn't know it was Kyle O'Reilly until I saw it on Twitter because I was like, that person looks vaguely familiar. What famous face is playing this doctor here? And I was like, oh, that's Kyle O'Reilly. That's how memorable Kyle O'Reilly is to me.
Yeah, so Glenn, if you don't mind, I know Matt won't mind, I'm going to jump ahead a little bit here. So we end up eventually getting Adam Cole in the ring right after this, and it leads to basically we know Adam Cole's future here is going to be in a couple weeks a championship versus a championship match. His title versus the North American title. Against
Killian Cross? No. He thinks Karrion Kross, he can correct himself. And Scarlett, we're just trying to scare him. Keith Lee came out. Finn Balor came out. Johnny Gargano came out. Those three are going to have a triple threat, and the winner of that will face Adam Cole.
So on July 8th is going to be champion versus champion. Cole versus whoever's the North American champion. This to me symbolizes, okay, Cole was probably done on NXT. I mean, he's had this record title run. What else? I mean, do you want him to hold both titles? I mean, I guess, but no. So this symbolizes the end. So going back to this whole Undisputed Era thing, when Cole leaves NXT and goes to Raw or SmackDown, I'm sorry to the other three guys.
Yeah.
And then Undisputed Era, they're going to flounder in obscurity. And all three of them have talents in the ring. I've seen all three of them individually prior to their time in NXT, but they're just the three other henchmen to the stud that is Adam Cole.
Yeah. I don't see anything wrong with what you just said.
Yeah. So Mia Yim got into it with Candice LeRae, brawling around the backstage area. Then we had Kaden Carter versus Dakota Kai. Fairly quick match. Raquel I'm sorry.
Kaden Carter to me looks like such a star though. Like even when she's in the crowd, when you see her in the crowd, even I was watching her. I think it was during Raw.
Yeah, she draws the eye.
Like she's the pay-per-view. For whatever reason, my attention goes to her, and she's behind plexiglass. Do you know what I mean? So there's something about her that's, I don't know. And I know she's shorter than most, but still, her look is so different and sticks out. She looks like a star.
I agree. So, of course, Raquel Gonzalez got involved. Katie Catanzaro came out, made the save. And Kai got a win due to the distraction of the skirmish. Then we got a black and white video, Scarlett and Karrion Kross stepping on a broken hourglass. So, yeah, I'm curious what they're setting up with him. And then we got Leon Ruff versus Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed getting a very quick and easy squash. Stood tall, music played. And he called out Karrion Kross, Cameron Grimes. Then we went to the back. Cameron Grimes was attacking Damian Priest. No, Damian Priest had 4 flat tires. Cameron Grimes spoke his car and laughed, called an Uber for Priest. So, yeah, you can guess who the culprit is there. Then we had Santos Escobar come out, and he was interrupted by Drake Maverick. That did not go well for Maverick. Escobar raising the title over Drake. And then
this looked brutal. This looked brutal, by the way. Escobar gives a Death Valley Driver off of like a platform onto a table.
Yeah.
And I hope that he protected Drake's neck, because if you watch it, when they come down, they didn't come down and have the table break them. Drake's head, it looks like, hits the edge of the table and then the cement. I hope that Santiago got his arm underneath the Drake, because it looked bad. And I kept going back over and over, and I was just like, this just looks really, really bad.
Yeah.
Leonza Duncan super chat said, love Asuka and the 4 horsewomen, but NXT women are so deep and fire. AEW tag are the only rivals. The women tag should be mostly on NXT. I agree. I thought tonight we saw a lot more. I think my prediction came true. They did have a better match tonight than what they've been having recently on Raw or SmackDown. We got the announcement of Karrion Kross versus Bronson Reed next week, Cameron Grimes versus Damian Priest, and then North American triple threat. And then Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox versus Sasha Banks and Bayley for the women's tag team titles. Lengthy match, great main event, as I think everyone would have predicted. Sasha Banks and Bayley won. But yeah, Matt, what'd you think of this match?
This was good. This is what you said. This was much better than what we saw the other night. Yeah, what do you say? I can't take it. You can't pick it apart. This was really, really good. Shotzi Blackheart, though. I don't know. I just feel like I have to say something negative here, and I don't want to. This was a great name. This was great, because I feel like we're supposed to be critiquing everything. If I'm being honest, Shotzi's the one out of the 4 I still feel, still needs to work her way up.
Okay.
As well as she should, because she's the newest of the 4, correct? With this company.
With the company, yes. I do think, though, if a performer is good, I mean, this is how I look at it. It's like if I like a character, let alone a performer, if I like a character, then I'm pretty forgiving over if there's flaws in the match of the ring. And I think, and that's part of it too. I mean, Matt, you know this from being a performer. It's like, what do they say? Like 90% of it's just confidence, man. Like if you go out there and you sell it, you can get away with a lot if you look like you know what you're doing.
100%. Absolutely true.
I think she's got that. I mean, I don't notice the flaws as much, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. Alonzo Smith saying the main event had blue hair, green hair, black hair, and reddish brown hair. There's something to that. I know this sounds weird, but I think aesthetically, the women with the vivid hair colors, especially when they're able to match their gear, contrast their gear, you don't really see that with the men anymore. Men, for the most part, have very standard hair.
And they're missing out, because to me, the women look like comic book heroes or villains. Because, like, in a weird way, we always say when I describe pro wrestlers to people that don't really watch it, they're like, why did you like that? Why do you always say you liked it when you were a kid? Because to me, they're larger than life, real life comic book heroes, right? Especially in the 80s with these over the top characters and personas and these outfits. Nowadays, the women's, especially in NXT, all of them actually, Raw and SmackDown, you're right. The hair, there's something to it, matching their outfit, and they look like just like, again, comic book villains or comic book heroes. I think that's always a plus. It gets your attention.
Yeah, you can only have a very, very small number of blonde bombshells.
And this is where WWE is better, because that's all they used to go after. And they all eventually used to look the same.
Right.
I mean, honestly, with Becky Lynch, that was a big part of it. Yeah, first it was like, who
She
is
was
this
the
woman?
first one with like fire red hair, right?
Yeah, huge.
Well,
huge
she was this era's Lita. Lita had that same appeal.
Well, but with Lita,
Lita with a tattoo up here and the red hair. I mean, that was the same kind of appeal, like
yeah. Lita having a tattoo was a really big deal. If you
that was a big,
day.
Right. That was you did not like Luna.
See that
we mentioned Luna Vachon earlier, but Luna Vachon never tried to be sexy. Lita came out there, thongs sticking out, tattoos, bright red hair, and she could do
moonsaults,
doing a moonsault. So it was like, who is this? Like,
getting crazy pops. She would get crazy pops.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like with Becky, the first time I ever saw Becky Lynch, it was like in a vignette. I think it was when I was watching Takeover Brooklyn, Bayley versus Sasha, and they showed that vignette. And my wife and I were both like, "Who is that performer?" Like she just looked like a superhero, like someone we knew instantly we wanted to see more of. That we were a fan of her. I mean, it helps.
She was doing that whole Mad Max kind of thing, where she wore those like goggle things.
Yeah.
Thank you, steampunk. That was different. I'm glad she's past that now, but like at least in the beginning she threw it out there to differentiate herself from the others.
Yeah, and Asuka's a good example with the multicolored hair. Like, it gets your attention.
Yes.
I wonder what the men. That's what
Kaden Carter's does that. I think that's something with Kaden Carter's too.
Well, in her eyes and just the way she
looks.
eyes,
yes.
Yeah.
I love her. I think she's gonna be a big star. I hope
have a feeling
start booking her right.
With the men, let's say that Chad Gable was like, I got an idea, I'm gonna dye my hair green. Like people would just be like, What are you on, dude? Like that would.
But that's what we talked about going all in.
Yeah.
And I told you, as a guy, when you really, you not that you're arrogant about yourself, but there's something about your own ego that you won't go that far all the way in because you want to look good in real life too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where if you were to do that and like you said, paint your hair green as a male performer, you've got to go through your life with green hair.
And you need more people to do it. So it's like Jeff Hardy is the one that's like allowed to really have flair. I mean, Bray is the Fiend. But the problem is like when Mojo was doing the blue marker on his face and he was the only one that was doing something like that, it was like, okay, dude, that looks corny. Like that looks stupid.
Right.
Like
that's it.
You can't be like the one guy. Like if you're the one guy that looks like the superhero, you're Hurricane Helms. Like you can't be the one guy. You have to have a roster that looks like superheroes.
Who was the girl who was like all red everything?
Eva Marie.
That was a cool look.
It's true. Something. Manic Panic, man. They still sell that stuff. Do something. Change it up. We kind of glossed over the promo tonight with Gargano, Finn, and Lee.
Good.
But yeah, I think
I already said everything we needed to know. This is going to be a North American title match. The winner's going to face Cole. That's why I lost it.
Okay. So tonight, I don't know. I think that
the big thing was, Bayley, Sasha, they get the victory, and then Io Shirai.
Io Shirai came out and attacked, held up the belt.
I got to give tonight's contest to NXT.
Yeah. NXT was better. I'm just more excited about this. AEW had some really good moments. The Abadon match, I'm telling you, like, the main event was good. There was a lot of good stuff tonight. I mean, Cody's match was good, but man, the Abadon thing, like, that's what I want to see more of. I want to see stuff that makes me feel like I'm taken out of reality more, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, this will be pretty close in the viewership. I could certainly see NXT getting an edge. This was one of those weeks where it's like you could miss it and you can be okay. This was just kind of like place setting for storytelling, which you need, but it wasn't a lot of big bang stuff happening. But yeah, I mean, I'll give a slight edge to NXT here for sure.
Wow.
NXT, Triple H always says it to the media, and I believe it on this one. NXT is talking about a marathon. They're trying to set long-term things up, and I feel like the way they do, AEW sometimes a little bit more quick, 1 week, 2 week fast hit results. I think right now NXT's got some better long-term storytelling happening more so than AEW.
There you have it. So before we go, Sean322 with a $5 super chat wants to know, does Justin Shirt say the mean fiddler or the meat fiddler?
Yeah, this is the Mean Fiddler. It is a great Irish bar in Hell's Kitchen in New York City. These guys have been great supporters of me. I've done events there. Awesome place. So if you're ever in Hell's Kitchen in New York City, check it out. Get the shepherd's pie.
He's at BP Matt Morgan. He's at Justin LaBar. To contribute to Matt's campaign, you can text Blueprint to 22525. I'm at Glenn Rubenstein. We'll catch you back here Friday to talk SmackDown. Till then, take care. Stay healthy. Stay sane. Stay safe. We'll see you back here on the Wrestling Inc. podcast.